That was Know Someone by Vita Schmidt, the up-and-coming Franco-Norwegian singer-songwriter, just released her first album. It's also called Know Someone. 12 tracks mixing soul, R&B, jazz, and electro influences. It's a warm, upbeat soundtrack to listen to as you ease your way out of lockdown, as we're doing here in France. Now, strict social distancing measures remain in place, like here at France 24, and that's why we're joining Vita virtually from where she is in Paris. Vita, thank you so much for being with us today. Now, before we talk about your album, how has this lockdown affected your musical projects? Did you have to cancel any concerts or festivals or things like that?
I wish I could say I had so many things to cancel because that would make me sound like such a busy artist. But I actually was, it gave me time to be a little bit more hands-on on my album release. We decided to release it during lockdown. So I actually just spent a lot of time being in touch with media and just trying to work out as much as I could with the promotion.
And you actually played a concert, one of the very last concerts in Paris right before the lockdown to promote this new album, so Know Someone, which is kind of the fruit of a 4-year musical journey of discovery for you. Would you say that this is a coming-of-age album for you?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for putting it that way. I've been thinking about it a lot now that it's out, and it's definitely a coming-of-age album. It was a 4-year process with my musicians and with recording and making and recording the songs, but making the songs started way before. So definitely, this is a big chunk of my life in this album.
And now, one thing I find really cool on the album is that that track we just listened to, Know Someone, there are actually 3 versions of that same track. So it's the same song, but sung in different languages. So you have English, French, but also Norwegian. You even released 3 identical music videos for those 3 versions of the song. What was the thinking behind this multilingual project?
We were actually in the process of having started the music video. We were just about to record it. And I was speaking to a friend, and he's English, and he was telling me, Vita, you speak 3 languages, and you're in France, and you're trying to speak of your project, which is in English. And first of all, we know English isn't always, the easiest for French people and English music. So he was like, you speak 3 languages. Why don't you go ahead and make a version in all 3? And when he said that, I thought, that's really quite fun, and it would be a challenge, and it would sort of add to the storytelling of my project, which is that I grew up in Norway, that I'm French, and that I live here, but that I also have a lot of ties to London, but also the States.
Well, let's actually listen to the French version of that track so that you guys can listen to it as well. It's called Le doute et le feu in French. Take a listen.
Je l'aime dans le flou, sans souci dessous. Dis-moi si j'ai tort de l'aimer si fort. La nuit passe entre le doute et le feu. Oh mon bébé, ma baby, ne t'en va pas, mon bébé, ma baby. Reste près de moi, mon bébé, ma baby. Je peux pas vivre sans toi, mon bébé, ma baby.
Now, Vita, you were mentioning that you have a very international background. So you grew up in Oslo, also here in Paris. Then you went to study in the US at the very prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston. And there you opened for very impressive acts, Talib Kweli, The Far Side. Has this cosmopolitan life that you've had, has this had an impact on your songwriting?
So much. I asked myself this question: why was I born in Norway with a French dad, and I just love soul music so much, and I speak English with an American accent. I think that I have a love for soul music, but I also have very strong ties to where I grew up, which is Norway and Paris. And I love just Europe and European history and being from here. So I think me loving soul music paired with kind of my background is massive inspiration on my music and an influence.
And you were talking about influences there, so soul music. Can you give us some examples of artists that influence you? I must admit, I hear some early Nora Jones, Sade, Morchiba. What artists inspire you?
was like many others, an early fan of Michael Jackson. I absolutely adored Stevie Wonder. And then when I was about 12, I think that's when I really started kind of understanding that I really loved soul music, and Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu, and also a lot of hip hop, Outkast, Pharrell Williams, the Neptunes.
Awesome. Well, you can definitely hear some of those influences in your own unique style. But what's interesting about the coronavirus lockdown, if we can come back to that, is that some artists have decided to postpone releasing their albums, while others, like you, have gone ahead and released their albums during this very particular time. It must be said that a lot of people had a lot of time on their hands to tune in during this particular time. That's also the case of the legendary American folk duo Indigo Girls, who are releasing Look Long. Now, this is their 16th record and their first LP in 5 years. The LGBTQ activists and icons bring a queer perspective to tracks which often have a country tinge. As you can hear on this song, it's called Shh Kicking.
If you can catch 'em, you can ride 'em. That's what the old man said to us kids. I took that and read for the rest of my days. I'm a little bit left of the salt of the earth. Not too proud, I'll prove my worth. A little bit right in my family. You know they let me be to make my way through this world. In spite of everything, shit kicking, suburban, for all I'm worth.
Meanwhile, British pop star Charli XCX has gone even further. She's releasing a new album recorded entirely in lockdown called How I'm Feeling Now. She says she used the isolation time to record a brand new album from scratch, creatively channeling her emotional experience from anxiety to boredom. Check out this track off the album. It's called Forever.
I didn't wanna leave low. Draw the car off the road. I hope you get some time to grow. Yeah. Now that goes here in my head. I will always love you. I love you forever. Even when we're not together, I will always love you. I love you forever. Said I love you forever. I know in the future we won't see each other. Cold just like December, but I will always love you. I love you forever. Yeah, I love you forever.
Now, Vita, music has this very interesting power where it can save our soul during trying times. Did you listen to any particular tracks during the lockdown?
I think I kind of first started revisiting things, revisiting music, which I really liked. I just needed kind of the comfort. I was listening to Gretchen Parlato, her album In a Dream, which came out a while ago, but which I really love and hadn't listened to a while. I think I was revisiting a lot. And then I started feeling the need for some new music, and I saw that Tame Impala had just come out with an album, and I was listening to that quite a bit. And then recently, a track that I'm obsessed with is a cover by Scary Pockets and Michael Mayo of NSYNC's Tearing Up My Heart. And Michael Mayo just like does a scat solo over funk music, which I think is pretty amazing. So that's kept me motivated to listen and work and just inspired.
Those are good tracks to listen to. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the future of live music. A lot of festivals have been canceled. It's unclear when venues are going to be able to open again. Do you think that musicians are going to have to start thinking outside of the box about new ways to connect with fans?
Definitely. I think I think musicians have to come up with new ways, but I think they already are. And we have to come up with ways that just kind of aren't harassing to our fans, because we're just at home all the time and, just playing from our living room, and, it's got to be like not too much. So I'm actually, I think that this is also going to be in the hands of well-established music venues, festivals, to kind of keep organizing events, even if they're live the same way you guys are doing, and keep us working and kind of have their reputation and their the fact that they're well known, have us be able to keep working. Basically, I think it's also going to be in collaboration with a lot of people and not just musicians.
Well, I can't wait to go to a live concert myself. We're going to have to leave it there, Vita, but before we go, you're going to play us out with an acoustic version of a track off your album. It's that track we listened to at the very beginning, Know Someone. Now, for more arts and culture news, you can head to our website and stay in touch on social media. More news is coming up on France 24 right after this.
Ooh, I really wanna believe in you. So I choose only to see the good. That's what we do. And people will talk to me, lay down a path for me. Nothing is with approval or disagree. But can you ever really know someone? When you think you do, they just slip right through. One day you will know who's right or wrong. But for now, there's a doubt and a fire. Oh, my baby, my baby, I'm all yours, my baby, my baby. I believe in love, my baby, my baby. Someday you'll be gone, my baby, my baby. But today I'm a home mood. One day you will know who is right or wrong. But for now, there's a doubt and a fire. But for now, there's a doubt and a fire.
Sur France 24, la nuit, on est très fiers d'accompagner les Amériques dans leurs soirées, de voir l'Asie se réveiller, et on est là jusqu'à ce que Paris s'éveille.
France 24 es más que solo noticias. Es libertad, igualdad y actualidad. Nosotros damos un paso más allá, con información al momento para analizar, comprender, poner en perspectiva y debatir.
In Live from Paris, our correspondents around the world keep you up to date.
من الطبيعي أن يكون شعارها الحرية، وخاصة حرية التعبير في بلد حرية التعبير.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.